the millennial dad, born between 1981 and 1996. And from my research, I can't help but feel like we're the ones who are trying to redefine what it means to be a dad. We're almost rejecting that hands-off breadwinner of, well, I'm just going to go out and work and then tea needs to be on the table, you know, and treat your other half like a 1940s housewife. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think them days are long gone. And the key stat that I've got here, mate, nappy duty, only 3% of dads today will say they've never changed a nappy. And that's compared to 43% in 1982. I know what's coming here.
I'm smiling at you. I have changed nappies. Not as many as I would have liked.
The 3%.
So I'm not in that 3%. I have changed nappies for sure. So 3% of dads in our generation
will say that they've never changed a nappy. Compared to 43% who've never changed a nappy in 1982.
So in 1982, 43% of dads said they'd never changed a nappy.
So in 44 years, that number has come down by 40%. That is a huge percentage. Welcome to the Fit Dads Podcast. I'm Brad Thompson. I'm joined as always by Ryan Dutton. And to start this one off, Ryan, I've just said to you before we hit record, I don't want this to be just two dads complaining about how tired they are, but I'd love to talk about the millennial dad dilemma.
The millennial dad dilemma.
Yeah, I have put down the dad dichotomy, but dichotomy is a bit of a shit nerdy word, isn't it?
Pretentious.
It's a bit pretentious. And I thought about it probably this weekend, actually, about maybe we're classed as peak millennials, right? Have you heard of this stat, that we are peak millennials?
Is that people born between the years of 1989 and 1992?
Specifically, like peak millennials who like got the best of without technology and with technology were born in 1990, 1991.
Okay.
So I'm going to dine out on that, being a peak millennial.
Right.
But I just feel like we've got some very modern problems that are being talked about, but I don't think being taken very seriously. And for context, I'm very tired. I'm chronically very, very tired. And it's weird. And I wrote down two words when I was preparing for this about provider versus present, basically. Like, you want to provide as a dad, but at the same time, you want to be there with your family. I don't know if you feel that every day. Is that something that you notice?
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, there's so many facets to what we do because we've got to work like everyone else. We've got to be there, present for the family. We also run our own businesses, so we have to make sure that there's a lot more boxes ticked. We're also one-man bands. We have no other employees in our business, so we are the only sole person who runs everything that we do. We are the accountant, the personal trainer, with the cleaners. I'm everything in my business. I really am. So I wear a lot of hats, and then obviously with what we do and the nature of our business, we have to be keeping appearances basically. So we have to train. We have to look like we know what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? So there's that aspect to everything, and it's a lot of plates to spin. Like I said, a lot of hats to wear, and there's some weeks where burnout and overwhelm gets really high. That's something that's not talked about enough. This overwhelming feeling of like, wow, I'm doing all this, I'm probably not getting a massive amount back. You feel like you're constantly working like 11 out of 10, 120% sometimes, and you don't really feel like you're going anywhere or doing anything. And that's quite a difficult pill to swallow, isn't it? I've been there many, many times in my work and personal life, and it's hard. It really is, because you don't want to go home to the family and show them all this stuff.
Yeah.
You kind of want to protect them from it a little bit, because I understand it, and I know Amy's upstairs somewhere. Hopefully not listening in. She's busy watching Clarkson's Farm, mate. She's not watching it. She's not know what we're talking about. But I sometimes wonder that if I told Amy everything that went on in the work situation, that she would not help. She would panic more than I would panic.
Yeah.
And there's certain decisions you make as a business owner where you're like, this is life-changing if it goes wrong for me and my family. But you have to make those calls and those decisions weekly sometimes. You really do.
I mean, to address any women who are listening, I just, again, to reassure them, this is not just two blokes sat and complaining, but the fact that I've got to do that throat clearing feels a little bit weird, because if I've had tons of conversations with my clients over the past 3 months, some of my really sort of high performing female clients who maybe don't understand their other halves as well as they think they do. And they sometimes ask me questions like, well, why is he like this? Or like, are you like that? And I just feel like that may be misunderstanding of why we don't do things the way females do it. And you imagine all these plates that women spin, maybe the overthinking, mixed in with this weird masculine pride that we have of not wanting to speak and having no way of really venting.
Absolutely. And even with even with our mates and our friends, and one thing I will give you credit for, you're pretty open with me, and I appreciate that. Probably not as much as I let on. I think you're quite open and honest. If you've got anything that's on your mind, you'll share it. I probably am not as good at that. Like, if there's anything, I'm of this real kind of old school, like, I'll deal with my problems. I don't want to burden anyone else with it. And then I get to a point where it's really affected me mentally. And I'm like, shit, I probably need to speak to someone about this now. And I've been some, tough places mentally and had to reach out to just some like really close friends. And, it's nice that those people are there though, because I know a lot of people who don't have those close friends. And, how long have we known each other now? 2.5 years? It must be, because we've been doing the podcast about how long. So about 2.5 years, just over. And I think we've become, comfortable in each other's presence enough to be able to share certain things. And it's nice to have someone like that around. And I think it's quite unique that we are both doing exactly the same thing. As we've spoke about, we're similar in more ways than we kind of care to believe. But I think, it's tricky talking to your family about this.
It can't be.
You also as well, we know that kids pick up on things, and you don't want to let on how tough things are sometimes, because if kids pick up on that creates this air of anxiousness, and you'll see their behaviour changing when you're uptight and you're short and you're not really giving them the time of day. But it's such a hard thing to do, to walk through that front door in an evening and leave all that work baggage at home and just be dad for the 2-3 hours that you're with them in the evening.
Yep, I agree. I've got a few stats about the millennial dad. And a millennial dad's born between 1981 and 1996. So if there's anyone listening who is born within that time, you're classed as a millennial dad. And from my research, I can't help but feel like we're the ones who are trying to redefine what it means to be a dad, not just a father, which is a bit, I don't know, that word for me, I don't know what it is about it. It feels a bit more clinical, do you know what I mean? Whereas we're almost rejecting that hands-off breadwinner of, well, I'm just going to go out and work, and then tea needs to be on the table, and treat your other half like a 1940s housewife. Do you know what I mean? I think them days are long gone. And the key stat that I've got here, mate, is studies show that millennial dads spend nearly triple the time on childcare than fathers did in the 1960s.
Is that monetary time?
Like triple the time, 80 minutes daily to hands-on parenting tasks.
Oh, you mean time spent?
Actually, time physically spent with kids.
Okay.
Which I think, I mean, we know what it's like. We saw Ted over at weekend, like, he's so full on, which is brilliant. I mean, he's got an amazing imagination, but I can't take my eyes off him. You know what I mean? I'm like, and that reset of being like, okay, I need to know where he is. We're in a public place. I feel like Ed's always on a pivot, and just a few other stats, like what we got here. Nappy duty, only 3% of dads today will say they've never changed a nappy. And that's compared to 43% in 1982. I know what's coming here.
I'm smiling at you. I have changed nappies.
Yeah.
Not as many as I would. Not as many as I would have liked.
The 3%.
So I'm not in that 3%. I have changed nappies for sure. So just tell me that stat from back in the day. What was that?
So,
So 3% of dads in our generation
we'll
have
say that they've never changed a nappy. So
compared to
43%
wow.
who've never changed a nappy in
Oh
1982.
So in 1982, 43% of dads
Yeah.
said they'd never changed a nappy.
So in 44 years, that number has come down by 40%. That is a huge percentage.
Is that 1982, you said?
Yeah, 1982. So that's what, 44 years.
Oh, from then to now. Ah. So that's the stat from
So
then
in the space of a generation.
to us being asked right now in today's world. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it?
The key thing, and again, like people have probably heard me speak about this before, something called allostatic load. If you've come across this before.
You've mentioned it before. Go and remind me.
So an allostatic load, and if anyone's in a position to actually Google this so you can see a physical representation of it, it's essentially a bucket. So if you think about a stress bucket,
That's right.
and all of these, see it as like a bucket of inflammation or a bucket of stress.
Yeah.
Ollie Newton, who I've had on the podcast, he talks about this a lot. And if you're constantly filling your bucket with stresses, and that is work stress, excessive exercise, poor nutrition, social isolation, trauma, inadequate sleep, all these things go into this bucket. And it's a bit like watching some pasta that you've got on the hob and seeing it bubble over and then spill over. I think you can feel that especially as a male sometimes, where you can feel it bubbling over, but you're like, I don't know what to do about this. I don't know how to turn the temperature down. I don't know how to take this saucepan off the ring. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting one to.
And the issue is, and I'm not sure if you'll agree with this. Let's say you've got this bucket, right? This hypothetical bucket that's frothing. It's so overfilled. And then when you start stressing, it starts making everything in that bucket worse. And so it's almost like it's compounding over time.
Stress about being stressed.
Yes, you stress, but then that makes you sleep even worse. So you can't sleep at night. And then that makes you makes you hunger more. And so you're eating more now, and your nutrition's getting worse because you're craving shit because you're now really stressed. And all of a sudden, because you're stressed, it makes it really hard to bring those stresses down. I think we spoke about it before, but like we're both like well overdue a holiday, aren't we? We're both well overdue, just a little bit of a break and just to kind of reset mentally. And they're really important. And you don't have to go anywhere. Just taking time off work to go and do what you want to do, which is tricky as a dad, because even when you go away, it ain't really a holiday, is it? Especially if you're with your kids and your family. Yes, you can de-stress a little bit, and I think it's really important that you and your missus are on a wavelength where you accept that during the holiday you're going to have to take a little bit of the load and give your partner some time to de-stress and have an afternoon or a morning to themselves. And that's generally how me and Amy do things. Like even when I go away, I'll train every day pretty much. I'll do something every day.
Yeah,
that's my moment. That's my time. Okay, Amy, you want to go and sit in the the room and catch up on some sleep and have an hour or so? Great, I'll take the kids by the pool and we'll do it that way. I think it's when you go away, you have to be very much on that wavelength. We can't both be looking after the kids at all times. I'm gonna have to take them both and let you have a moment.
Yep. Half terms have been a weird leveler for us. Half terms for kids at school, since this is Ted's first year at school, and it's really surprised me how much me and Amy have like moved things around and condensed work and said, you know what, let's have that day together as a family. Let's do this for half term. Like we've got his first ever 6-week holidays coming up with Ted's, because before that he's not really had 6-week holidays. Or so I think that's going to be interesting, because that time off is going to be forced upon us, whether it's not childcare, whether it's something else. And I know your Amy's a teacher, so it's not necessarily an issue. But for someone who's self-employed, or I've got mates who have to take annual leave and time off for half terms.
Yeah.
So you think if you don't go away for your annual leave that you use, and I see so many people just trapped in this trap of, you got 25 holidays to use a year, but the half terms equate to whatever it is. Balance that out between yourselves. People never get a break. And we've worked. Me and Amy have discussed this. We love traveling, seeing different places, and we probably try and do something every 3 months. That's not going abroad. That's just going somewhere different, just having a change of scenery. And I pulled up a stat earlier about traveling for stress relief and why it's so effective. And people who do not go on holiday in a year are 29% more stressed than those people who do.
29%.
Which is a bit, and that is...
That's hit home a little bit. Because I told you before I came on the podcast, we're in June now, end of June, middle of June? End of June. I'm taking a week off all year, not since Christmas. I think there's a part of me that's been like, well, the baby's coming, so...
That's going to be your break.
That's going to be my break, yeah, if you can call it that. But yeah, I need to take more time off, I do.
I think it's identity.
And my issue as well, I don't work 5 days, I work 6 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, I work Saturdays.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings, like, you know, 6:30 till 11:30, 12, I'm working. So it's not a normal week. And, you know, I'm working 6:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night, pretty much every day. So, but I think it's become the norm for me. But again, we mentioned this before, like, we talked about this allostatic load and this bucket. Now, when I first started getting into the workforce and I set up my business at 23 years old, I remember having 3 clients and being so overwhelmed that I couldn't sleep at night. 3 people relying on me to get me in shape. Oh my goodness me, what am I going to do? And then that you level out. I'm like, okay, 3's cool. Right, I can take on some more now. Then I got 10. I'm like, fuck it, now I've got 10 clients. Oh my God, what's going on here? 10 people relying on me to show up, write programs. That 10 turns into, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50. And over time, every jump up, you get a little bit overwhelmed, becomes a new norm. A little bit overwhelmed, comes a new norm. And you just get systems and habits. And I think I hit my like peak probably a good few years ago, where I just hit an amount where I couldn't physically work anymore. I think alongside that, we've obviously had to kind of factor in things like the podcast and find time for that. But my work capacity, I think, is so much greater than where it was when I was in my early to mid 20s. But you do hit a wall, don't you, with the amount of work and stress you can take on. And then you realise you've got these wheels. You're like in a train. Imagine a train travelling at 200 miles an hour, and you don't really know how to slow that thing down. And you can see, you put it out the window, you can see the wheel shaking a little bit underneath, and you think, shit, this could go dicey at any point. Everything could fall off the rails at any moment. But we're travelling so fast, and things are going so quick, and life's moving with kids and houses, and all these things are going 100 miles an hour, and you're like, we're on shaky ground here. And that's a really difficult place to be, isn't it, as a dad?
I suppose for you and that adaptation of stress, and you get used to more stress, don't you? But I had a visual about when you first took on them 3 clients, that stress bucket were probably like a thimble, you know, probably like an egg cup.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden now we've gone, since Christmas to now 6 months of just 0 time off. It's been a full on emotional stress, everything. And that bucket, if that was still egg cup sized, you're fucked.
Oh,
you have to
I need 100 egg cups.
Yeah, you have to adapt. And, you know, that's just what happens. Your bucket just you get more experience, you get better coping mechanisms. A key word I probably want to address is like burnout. I spoke to a few people about this week, and I would say I've got fairly like high functioning burnout where I can switch it on. I don't know if you're the same. You can just, right, I'm at work, hat goes on, and then I get home, completely just mong out. Like, thank God for World Cup, man. Like, World Cup's on now. It's been absolute saving grace to just like, ugh. And one thing that really made me prick my ears up and really try and research this was I've got a nutrition qualification from a company called Precision Nutrition, and they're amazing, but they're a very holistic company, and they try and focus on, are you showing signs of burnout? This was a post that I saw from Precision Nutrition, and there's 6 elements. I'll just quickly show you, Ryan, the hexagon.
So we've got social, physical, emotional, environmental, mental, and existential. So
I basically went through a bit of a checklist with this, and I said, Amy, I just need your help. Like, if I read these out, I need you to be honest with me. Do you think that I am any of these, or can I confirm if I am or not? Social, callousness towards others, maybe feeling alone and alienated. And Amy's like, yeah, I can see that in you already. It's worrying. Physical, slow recovery, worse sleep, 1,000,000%. Emotional. Cynicism's a hard one. Like I'm not a cynical person.
Okay.
And as soon as you feel that cynicism, I suppose, spark in your brain, it's weird. It's not a nice feeling. You feel like you're very against the world, and it's not a nice feeling. Environmental, maybe the reduced ability to deal with high stress in surroundings. This is probably resonating with a lot of male listeners in particular. Mental, maybe poor focus, spacing out, maybe some heightened worries as well. That's a huge one. And then existential is probably something that's not spoke about a lot, but it's a reduced sense of personal accomplishment. And I've had a couple of clients recently who said, right, I'm coming off social media, fed up of seeing people smashing the 10Ks and billionaires being made in a week. And it's so hard when you begin to question where you are now and where you want to be, and you feel so far off of it.
Yeah.
And I just thought that hexagon of burnout is quite an interesting checklist to work through.
I agree, and that's on Precision Nutrition. Is it? Maybe we can share that on some platforms and stories if people want to go through that themselves. But one thing that we've obviously talked about is just what's going on in our own world, which is stressful enough, isn't it? Like with kids and business, work, family. But then, what compounds this? I think I say tenfold, but I think for some people it's probably 20, 30, maybe 100-fold. Is social media. Like, you'll know it before, where you just see, you're bombarded with people who seem to have it all together, and you're on, I said this, you're on this shaky train traveling under 200 mile an hour, wheels are spinning, about to fall off, and you're seeing people seemingly managing similar things, but with ease. And one thing I will say is, do exactly what your clients have done. Come off social media for a little bit. If it's compounding it more than it should be, just come off. I've stressed myself out with it so many times over the years, and I've tapered back a lot more recently in the past year or so, just because I just thought I was spending too much time on there. I thought I was putting too much into it and not really seeing much, getting anything back. A lot of people do that as well. Yeah. Social media takes a lot from our lives.
I agree.
But how much does it give us back?
Depends if you actively create or not. I've noticed that if I didn't use social media to create, I don't think I'd be on it. I always joke that I'm on it for the memes. I find the memes really funny.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm on it for there. It makes me laugh.
There's some things, like my friends share some things with me, and me and my friends are big fans of the comment section. I've got one mate in particular. I'll give him a shout out, Chris Nimmo. He lives in Liverpool, and he's a manager at a Pure Gym, very much into, we trained together. He used to live in Sheffield, and we're very much on the same wavelength, went to uni together. And he sends me memes all the time, and I send him ones, and it's just basically, all I do is I send him the video and I say, just read the comments. And it's comments that have got like 60,000 likes on one comment. And it's like, these comments are hilarious, just like absolutely. So the people in the comment section are minor comedians. There's some people in there who are minor comedians who probably could be great on stage. Some of the one-liners are absolutely phenomenal. We should do a whole podcast episode of just one-liners that we found on videos. That brings such joy to my life. But there's a phrase that I used a lot when I was kind of going through this transition on social media. I felt like social media was using me. I wasn't using social media. And I had to really be honest with myself about how much, I was being used by social media. Yes, it gives me a little chuckle every now and again, but it's the doom scroll and it's the comparisons, it's the compounding stress that it can bring. I try and just do things that are low barrier to entry, bits of content that I can put out there, whether it's for the podcast, whether it's for my business, whether it's with my own training, things that are just quick, easy, simple forms of content now. And I like posting those, and I like chatting to certain people about those. I don't want to go down rabbit holes like I used to. It can be very stressful amongst everything else that's going on, right?
And it can make you certainly question your own self-worth if you see maybe what someone else is doing, and then you're like, well, they seem like they're doing really well. I don't know if you've ever had this experience where maybe you meet someone who you've met online and you're a bit disappointed. Because I'm like, oh, you're nothing like you come across, actually. It's quite disappointing. And just to go back on what you said, to circle back about, I suppose, just being very raw and very honest, and never to be a victim, but more just to be quite real and just not play the game of everything's fine. If you're struggling, just do this, and this is my 5 steps to fuck off.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely right. Fuck off with all that shit. Like life coaches as well, like as if life coaches have got their life together. Like no one's got their life together. And the people that you see, and I've come to accept this and I'm a lot more at peace with this now as well, like most of the people who I see who have look like they've got their shit together, behind closed doors, most likely haven't. And I convince myself that they've not. They might actually have, but I convince myself that they're not. And they're just like me. And that actually brings me a bit of happiness and content, being like, they're just like me. They're just stressed out. They're running multiple businesses. They've got family, kids. They've got all this shit going on. And yeah, don't ever be fooled by it. Everyone's got like shit going on.
And again, just to be like, again, in the essence of transparency, everyone always tells me like moving house is one of the most stressful things you can do. I laughed at that. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fine. It's going to be. I've only moved out once. Like when we moved into our house, as in prior to this one. So we moved house in 2014. Got us first place together. It were basically newly renovated, so we had naff all to do. So we've just coasted for like 12 years, and it's been amazing. We've done loads of like holidays, and we just enjoyed this time. And then we've moved house, and we have a child, and there's loads of work that needs doing. I'm like, oh my God. And just the mental load. And
that's another thing. That in itself is that alone will fill your bucket up.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
So any other stresses on top of that, like if you have some client leavers and stuff like that, and you think, oh, okay, where are these replacements coming from? And you start worrying about work, and then you worry about, am I there for Amy and Ted? And it can very, very easily just spiral if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I once read a quote which is like, pride will get you killed. You know, and it probably will if you bottle things up and you keep everything to yourself because you don't want to bother anyone, and you never find a way to just, I always use this analogy like a bottle of Coke and just gradually unscrewing the lid. Some people, they get shook up that much, lid comes off, and they just explode. And it's a nightmare because they either have a mental breakdown or they fall into some very disruptive habits. And
you see that in videos online sometimes. The classic one is where someone's like in an airport, because airports just seem to be, for whatever reason, like a very high pressure like situation, don't they? And you see people just blowing up at like, they're not called the checkouts, are they? Check-ins, the check-in desks, and they're blowing up about something, or they're having a right strop. This is a grown adult, but they're probably just really stressed out, really tired. Their job is super stressful. They've probably got some other personal stuff going on. And in that moment, that bottle of Coke was just shaken up enough, and that lid just went straight off. And normal people don't react like that. Normal civilized people who are in a good headspace don't react in those kind of ways. It's that pressure cooker. All you're seeing in that moment is someone's pressure cooker going off. And a lot of people are living that way. What would you recommend to dads, to parents who are in that situation right now? What are ways we can reduce those stresses? What's worked for you?
For me, again, it's finding spaces to talk. And like, as you know, I'm very much a man of science in terms of, right, why is this going to work? Like, just talking is not going to solve anything. But what it does is, if you have thousands of thoughts every single day, you say thousands of words, but you speak significantly less words than what you think. So if you can get your thoughts verbalized, you're essentially putting it through a funnel. I think it's something mad, like we have 60,000 thoughts a day.
Do we?
Which is nuts.
60,000?
On average, yeah. I don't know how to measure that, but I just study it. But basically, if you're putting it through a funnel of, I've got all these thoughts, let me just funnel it, verbal it. If you then write it down, that funnels it even more. So for me, it's a huge thing about identifying what the issues are and being very, almost as if you're advising somebody else.
Yeah.
I think I found that extremely useful about, if my best mate came to me with this problem, what would I tell him? And that's been a pretty overarching question for me. And I've always joked with Amy and just said, like, look, I'd do whatever I could to make sure that you're both all right. Like, I'm less of a priority now. And I know that'll probably resonate with a lot of probably millennial dads in particular. But then there's the other side of the coin. That's the stuff that we tell our audience and our clients. But like, you matter as well. Without you, you can't look after other people. So you've almost got to look at yourself like you're somebody else, which is very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. And finding a way that you can do that, and finding people who will listen, will not judge. And if they do judge or they don't listen, you know you're talking to the wrong person.
There's consequences to not doing that as well.
I mean, there's consequences to doing it as well. If you get it wrong, it can be a bit of scarring in terms of if you speak to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, there's consequences if you just bottle up and don't speak to anyone. Consequence of that, unfortunately, you know, could be the end of you. And I don't hate to put it so bluntly, but what's the biggest threat to our lives as males right now?
it is. It's suicide, mate. It's yeah.
It is, and there's a reason why it's so high, is because guys are going through this by themselves. That they're just not opening up and speaking about it, and they don't want to show face. And you know, one of my opening statements on this episode was, "I don't do this enough," and I don't. I think I do when I have to, and I have when I've had to, but I need to get better at it. And I think the issue is, sometimes, like you said, you said your classic case at the moment of someone who's isolating themselves from other people. Well, the issue with that is, when you've isolated for a little bit, when you get back out, you can't come back out and go, "Oh, mate, I'm supposed to for like 6 months, but I'm really struggling with this issue." You feel a bit of a dickhead because you're kind of like, "I haven't spoke to you for a while.
Yeah.
I know you're a close mate or whatever, but I need your help now." You almost feel quite ashamed about that, because guys do this a lot, where they just shut themselves off from certain social situations. And I think the wrong thing we can do as males there is go, "Why is he fucking not speaking to us?" The question we need to be asking is, yeah, why isn't he speaking to us?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's the same question, right?
It is just said differently. Yeah.
Just said differently. It's not, why is he not speaking to us? It's, yeah, why isn't he speaking to us? Because we need to ask those questions. And when someone's shutting themselves off and getting behind closed doors, there's a reason for that. And as a good mate, I think we should all be asking those questions of people that we're a little bit worried about.
And even if you just make it a habit between you and your mates, where if you get someone who's constantly sending you memes, and humor is a form of self-soothing. You're trying to make light of a hard situation. You're looking for escapism. If someone's absolutely peppering you with memes, and they might be funny, but maybe just message them saying, like, as things. No, someone may not have said that to them for months. And it happened to me last week, where two people in particular, two good mates and one ex-client. I just asked them all, I'm like, "How are you getting on?" And two of them came back. One of them's going through a divorce. One of them's just split up from his other half. And I just said, "Do you fancy coffee?"
Yeah. It's nice. It's really nice. And reaching out when you can see people struggling, because that, again, is one of the most horrible things any person, not just a bloke, but anyone can go through is divorce, isn't it? That's a real, it's a life-altering moment right there. One of the most stressful things, and they can get nasty, and they can get horrible, and they can get malicious. And
I saw a mate yesterday, and put his arm around me, which he never does. And he says, "You all right?" And I go, yeah, mate, I'm sound." And he just asked me again in exactly the same tone, like, "You all right?"
Really?
Yeah.
That's horrible, that, isn't it?
It's weird. Because I'm like, you've repeated yourself. I've heard you. And I might not want to talk about it right now, but I did end up talking to him, and it were... Sometimes you just need that, not annoyingly persistent, because all he did was just repeat himself.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
It's funny. I've had that same thing happen to me before, where someone's gone, "You all right?" And I've gone, yeah, fine, mate. Because it's your natural response. It's like an inbuilt thing as a bloke to go, "Yeah, fine, mate, fine." And they'll look at you and they'll go, "Are you all right, though?" And in that moment, you look into their eyes and they're looking into yours, and you realise they've sussed you out, and you're like, shit.
The double ask.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the trick, mate.
The double ask.
The double ask.
We need more double asks, because the double ask is a bloke's way of saying, I know you're not all right. Yeah. Don't lie to me. Tell me what's going on. I'm here, actually. I'm here right now. I'm being open with you. I'm wanting you to be vulnerable with me. Just tell me for a second what's going on.
Again, to mention, like last week, like just me messaging some people and just, again, "You all right?" It's 2 words. It's depending on, all right's 1 word, isn't it? You all right?
Well, basically, up here it is in Yorkshire anyway.
And I messaged one lad just being like, look, I'm wondering, have you got this opportunity, such and such, like, let me know if there's anything that pops up. I'm meeting with him tomorrow and there might be an opportunity for something we work. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not? Like, sometimes you have just got to take the brave move, and once you do that sensible analysis and you advise yourself like you would a mate. Yeah.
It's reconnecting, and I think it's a nice moment sometimes when you come out the back end of that closed off period and you go, no, I'm ready to start opening up a little bit more now. And I always remember that really annoying but very truthful video that circulated years ago. And it was a guy and he had a whiteboard behind him and it was a graph. And going up one side of the graph was find out. And along the bottom, it said, fuck about. And he goes, the more you fuck about, the more you find out. If you fuck about a little bit, you only find out a little bit. And as he did this kind of like very linear line up, he goes, if you fuck around the maximum amount you can fuck around, you're probably going to find out some shit that you want to find out.
I found it. Is this the guy?
That's it. For the listeners, that is exact. I don't know if you can see that in the light or not. I'm going to move around a little bit, but that's the bloke.
Yeah.
And he does it in a really like scientific way, but it's a very very simple and basic formula, and it's absolutely right.
But what he's done in this, they call it the FAFO method. Like I don't know why I've said method, FAFO method.
Method sounds more scientific.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and he's just circled number 7. He's like, if you can fuck around on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 to 10, and you're a 7, there's still. It's not quite middle of the road. It's still a bit dicey, but there's still room for error. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're fucking around 10, you're selling your house and moving to a different country.
Yeah.
That's what 10 is. Whereas most people don't have to do a 10, do they? They just have to try things out, figure out what they're made of. And
most people, honestly, aren't even fucking around a lot.
No, I agree.
They're not fucking around enough, and they're not finding out enough.
And sometimes people, they fuck around and they find out that maybe they're not as good as they thought they were, or they're not as strong as what they thought they were. And I find that really difficult. It's a bizarre one, and that's a really humbling thing. But again, going back to being humbled by stuff,
Again, even worse for a bloke, I think, because with that moment when you realise that maybe you aren't living up to who you thought you were going to be. That's a horrible moment for a bloke as well, isn't it? Where you have that sense of like, I don't think I'm fulfilling my full potential here. And that kind of just little seed grows sometimes, isn't it, in your brain? It's like I call it a mind virus that then sometimes becomes like your personality, I think. And instead of you becoming this person who achieves things and does things and fucks around more and finds out more, you become this person who becomes even more insular and just really feeds into that kind of like brain virus, the way you had that moment where you're like, I don't think I'm becoming who I really want to be. And that then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I've probably only said this to one person, and this being my wife, but that's always been a huge issue of mine, but I've never really heard anyone else verbalize it, about that, maybe that fear of being like average. Like outliers are really celebrated, and it depends what yardstick you're measuring against. Like if you consider that, like women, for example, 10% of women train. That's it. They're far above average compared to the 90% who don't on a physical level. And it depends what you're comparing yourself against and what you're doing. I
think the issue with the averageness now is the gap between everything is getting bigger. And I actually had this thought I did a run today, and on my 14k run, I saw a guy go whizzing past me. And I thought, oh God, he's way faster than me. He looks a bit fresher. I'm death's door. It's like 30 odd degrees today. It's warm, right? I was baking. It was a horrible run. And he looked like he was a runner. We'd talk about, he's probably 20 kilos less than me, but he was flying. I was struggling. I was like, oh God, he's so far away from me. And in the same breath, I ran past a cafe, and and I shouldn't really say it, but there was a group of people sat around there, and they were heavily overweight. They were. And they kind of all looked at me as I went past with a little bit of like awe in their eyes, of like, wow, he's sweating, he's working hard, and look at him, like almost like recoiling a little bit. Oh, wow, he's
he's going for that.
Yeah, he's going for it a little bit. And I thought, I think I'm far away from that guy who's just gone sitting past me. But actually,
Yeah.
I'm closer to him than I am probably to them. And I think the gap in everything's getting bigger now. The gap in financial situations is getting bigger. We know this from the wealth gap. I think the gap in fitness is getting bigger from people who train and don't train. I think everything, there's a big disparity with everything. And I think men's mental health is in that conversation. It is. People who are dealing with it okay and people who really, really aren't dealing with it okay.
I came across an amazing video the other day, and it's from a YouTube channel called Angelo.
Angelo. Oh, I've not heard this.
And the title of the video is The Violent Desire to Be Great.
The violent desire to be great.
It's very disruptive, and I'd never really heard anyone speak about it this way. And this guy's taken like a full 180 turn on self-development and self-improvement. And there's a part in the video, which I've just pulled up now, which is all about like people will achieve something. And there's a video at UFC, and this guy basically says like I'm him. Like I'm the guy, I'm him. And his commentary is basically like, what do you mean you're him? Like, who is him? Like, you've done that. Like, why are you outsourcing this achievement to a caricature of somebody else? And he's like, it's really weird because when outliers are celebrated, if you're not an outlier, you feel disheartened and disappointed, and the monotony all of a sudden becomes quite nihilistic and very depressive. And you're like, oh God, that's the society we're in actually, where attention's celebrated. And it's a phenomenal video. I'll just see if I can...
I've quoted this before on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's quite poignant. It's a Kano lyric, and it says, there's too many bosses, not enough apprentices. Too many people want to be the main character. There's this we call it main character energy right now, don't we? This is a phrase that the youth's using. Everyone wants to be this main character in their life, and it's okay to be... So it's okay to be the co-part. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's okay to be the main, the sub-co. What would you call it? Not the main character.
Yeah, like the supporting cast.
Supporting
or
cast, yeah.
The sidekick.
It's
Not to be a sidekick.
It's all right to be an extra.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
But then people say, like, sorry for Kano to fucking say it.
I know for sure. But I think I get that. I remember having. This is from a really old song. I can't remember what song it's from, but it came out at a time when I was obviously more into the bodybuilding style training, and I used to get a lot of clients coming to me and they'd see my physique and they'd say, "I just want that. How long's it going to take?" And I'm like,
20 years.
"Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. Have you got 20 years?" Like, and they were like, "What do you mean 20 years?" But that's them saying, "I want to be the boss. I want the good physique,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be an apprentice. I want to be an apprentice. I want that now." And we live in this society that feeds that. And I think social media is horrendous for this, isn't it? Playing on that in the youth, especially in young lads. It's this get rich quick. It's the get the physique quick. It's the shortcut society. It's if there's an easier way, if there's a blue pill to take, give me that blue pill. I want to take it, and I want to go there. That feeds again the mental health situation, because
it's
tough. It's that inadequacy.
Yeah.
When really we literally just done a full episode on my recent endeavour into triathlons.
Yep.
What am I not going into triathlons doing? Trying to compete with Christian Blumenfeld.
Yep.
I'm going where, how shit is my swim, mate? What can I do? I can do a breaststroke for 100 metres. I'm just going to do that. I am happy on all fronts to be an apprentice for as long as it takes. And eventually, if I work hard enough, I'm consistent enough, I'll become, hopefully, a bit of a boss in the pool. I'm definitely nowhere near that now. I'm better than I was, but I'm nowhere near a boss. I'm still an apprentice, 100%. I'm an apprentice in I see myself as an apprentice in everything that I do. I think to even call yourself a boss is quite... It's quite ambiguous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
And some people can be a boss but be a terrible boss. I've worked for some shocking gaffers in a professional sense, but I've also worked for people who are phenomenal gaffers and don't really see himself as a gaffer. They see himself as this leader, this person who can...
they're just
Lead from
Directing.
the front and lead from like the middle of the pack, which is so hard to do.
They are the best people to be in charge, and I've seen it in sports teams growing up where you've got a captain who is an out and out captain, and you don't really see him as a captain. You kind of see him as one of the lads, but he's the one of the lads who's got more of a say and a voice, and he's a commanding roles. One lad, I'm going to give him a massive shout out, Sammy Ellis. He was our first team football university captain, and he was the best. He was the best captain we ever had because no one saw him as the captain. He was the captain. He was 6'4". He looked like the captain.
Did he play centre half?
He played centre mid.
Okay. I used to play football with Sammy Ellis. Is he a Sheffield lad?
No, he was from Gloucester.
Okay.
He's from Gloucester.
Right, never mind. I literally used to play word for word everything you've said. A lad called Sam Ellis.
He's a mixed race lad.
Okay. No,
Same
no,
guy?
I'm thinking
No.
of no. As you were saying it, then I'm like, I could see Sam in my mind then, and Sam's from Answorth.
He actually lives in Paris now.
Oh, fair. Right.
Yeah, just outside Paris. He did business and French at uni. Went over there for a year. Met a French girl. He's a good-looking lad. He cleaned up. Let's be honest. But he was one of the best leaders ever, and he just, again, I think he's worked his way up into a good company now, and it does exactly the same thing. Just a good role model to people around him. One of those infectious characters who's got that kind of energy.
That's what we need, mate. We need more. We need more of that. People who are, again, it's admirable. But a key thing you said earlier, we're like having it all. I think our generation of like this millennial in this dad dichotomy, this millennial dad dilemma. I think we want it all, but yet. So this video that I've been telling you about from Angelo, The Violent Desire to be Great, as a generation who probably want it all, and we're admiring people like David Goggins, who arguably doesn't have it all. It actually starts off with a quote from David Goggins.
Okay.
And then it does something really clever, which, if it's all right, Ryan, I'll read out the quote and then I'll show you what it does.
Sure.
So the quote goes, "If you want to become great in any field, you must embrace your savage side and become imbalanced. Some relationships may break down. The savage is not a socialized beast, and an imbalanced lifestyle often appears selfish from the outside." And that's from David Goggins. And next to it, it says "divorce twice." Now, when it fades away, the only two phrases left are "some relationships may break down, divorce twice." So I just think be very, very careful who you take advice from. Like, take elements of that. But if you're idolizing people and you're maybe seeing, "Oh, I love that mentality," it's like that mentality comes at a cost. And it just depends on if you want to do it or not.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've just mentioned how we need less bosses and more apprentices. I also think we need less kings and more fathers. I think everyone wants to be a king in their own story, don't they? No one wants to be a good father, a good dad, raise a family. I think there's less of that going on. Like, you can just see from the birth rates.
Yeah.
White Caucasian births are going down rapidly. And we know, and I know this because Harlow's due to go to school next year, and we were worried about getting him into the school we want to. And then we found out this year in Sheffield, 99.8% of kids got the school they wanted to go to. Wow. Why is 19? It was like 70% last time. I checked a good few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years, it was 70% of kids. How has that changed to 99.8%? It's because kids have massively undersubscribed now, but no one's having kids anymore. I'd say, of all the mates I have in Sheffield, I'm the only one with kids.
Really?
I'm the only one with kids.
Wow. I know it's a very
My mates
complex
back in
thing.
Manchester are different, and I think a lot of it is socioeconomic as well. Like probably not a topic I really want to discuss too much, but my mates in Manchester, let's just say, are probably better off.
Yeah.
And I think there's a certain sense of that. Kids comes at a cost nowadays. Comes at a cost to holidays. Comes at a cost to lifestyle. Comes at a cost to appearances.
Yep.
And that's not something people are willing to budge on, unfortunately.
No, I agree.
We need more good fathers, raising good kids. We need more kids. We need more kids. Like, I know, yes, there's never been more people on this earth.
Yeah.
But in this country, in the UK, we need more fathers, good fathers. And, I feel quite proud to be able to do this with another good dad. have a podcast where we talk about these kind of issues, because it's something I don't think's been talked about enough. I think a lot of people are getting away with not having kids, and I'm going to get probably. I don't actually care if I get a lot of backlash for this, because people will go, "Well, it's my choice. I can do what I want." I think there's nothing more selfless in life than having a child. Saying that I'm not the most important person. I'm going to give up and sacrifice a lot for my life. I'm going to bring a life into this world, and I'm going to raise it right.
For some people, that's just to try and get inside their mind. That might be quite scary for them. Maybe they don't like who they are. Maybe they don't. Maybe they have maybe got them selfish tendencies. Maybe they feel like they've never grown up. Maybe they think, if I bring a child up, how screwed are they going to be? And I find that really, really sad if that is the case, if people feel that way. Or some people just go, well, it's my choice. But it's an irreversible choice, especially if you're a female where, not to scare anyone, but, clock's ticking. Whereas we're different. It could be any age. I think I saw that Michael Douglas became a dad at like 64, something like that.
Beautiful. Love that.
Mental.
Yeah, I mean,
mental, Michael.
Fair
But
play
fair
for having
play.
good swimmers at that age. But yeah, brilliant. He's not giving up. He's still going at it. He's still wanting to raise kids into this world. Wasn't it Al Pacino had kids at like 80?
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah, it is nuts. It is nuts. But
Fair play to him. But I think of our generation, like it is mad that like I've got a WhatsApp group of lads from Sheffield. Some have moved away now because one of them lives in Liverpool. But none of them have got kids.
yeah,
I'm the only one with kids. It just blows my mind. That's the norm now. Like, we're just going through life and no one's really having kids. I know people are having kids later, and I'm only in my mid-30s, as a lot of these guys are. They might get to 40 and have kids. I don't know, but I don't know. It just blows my mind.
a key word I keep coming back to is that purpose, and that, how do I say it? It's love without limits, basically, where like it's unconditional. That's what word I'm looking for. So if you're in a relationship with a woman, or you've got an husband or whatever, like that is conditional love, in my opinion. You have to choose that person. Like if they do something, there's a chance that you might not love them anymore, and there's an option to walk away. You could hate them one day, but with a child, that is true, like limitless, unconditional. Like in my eyes, Ted could do anything, and there's always going to be that element of love there. Even if he did the worst thing on earth, there's always going to be that point. That's very, very scary to realize that actually I've always been the most important person in my life. As much as you masquerade that might be your partner, it is always you until
Like I said, there's nothing more selfless than having kids.
Agreed.
Because you understand that you're saying goodbye to a certain aspect of your freedom, and you enter into this realm of adulthood where you have to show patience on a scale you've never had to show patience before. Some people are humbled by kids, and sometimes actually kids really is a great thing for people because it makes them grow up a little bit, makes them become less, of a dickhead. I think kids makes you realise that, there's now something that's more important. I've mentioned this in other episodes as well. Like, I'm not a very emotional person. I do struggle to kind of show emotion, but I can just be driving somewhere and think about Harlow, and I'll just start crying. She's the only person, and I don't have that about anyone else in this life apart from her. And I think it's a nice thing. It's a beautiful thing
100%.
to have someone who means that much to you.
and it's certainly worth being here for that. Not letting fear take over of, what if I get it wrong? Mate, we're going to mess up so much as parents. I don't even know it yet. Like, God forbid, like teenage parents, being parent of a teenager. Mate, I'm going to screw up so much. Yeah. I'm going to misjudge. I'm going to put Ted in situations that maybe is not great with his social circle. I know it's going to happen. That's going to be a different thing. But now we've done what we've done, and just got to try his best.
Yeah. And I mean, I like hearing you say that because I know you're going to be a ride or die dad. Like, my mum's very much like that. Me and Amy joke because my mum would do anything for me. I don't know if I'm the favourite of the three boys. I think sometimes the firstborn's always got like a bit of a special place in a mother's heart. But me and Amy joke that I could kill someone tomorrow, and I could bring my mum up and she'd go, Sam, where we buried him.
Yeah, she's game.
Some mum would go, hand yourself into the police. Right? My mum would go, right, Sam, where's the clean up job? Who do I need to get round?
I'm in.
My mum's is ride or die as you can ever imagine, and it's nice to have like parents like that, and I want to be that for Harlow. Look, fucking hell, I'm not saying like, but please, God forbid, don't encourage
Don't
her to
kill
like,
anyone.
No, don't kill her.
Yeah.
We're not encouraging murder on this podcast, Christ.
Not yet.
But
Not yet.
but you've got to have someone who's ride or die in your life, and if your parents can't be fucking ride or die, then who can? Do you know what I mean?
I agree. With I'm keen just to bring this one home, mate. With you know, if anyone who's made it this far, or maybe you're concerned about someone in your life, like the first thing is just to reach out. The second thing is to, again, maybe seek some support yourself. Like, I mean, Google's an amazing thing. If you Google anything, you're probably going to get a pretty decent Samaritans, Calm. Like,
one person I will shout out our company is me and Amy. I've had some counselling in the past for certain issues and things like that. And there's a company in Sheffield, if you're Sheffield based, called Cornerstone. They're based just off Ecky Road. Okay. Yeah, they've been really good to us, like fantastic. We've had some, you know, issues and some, mental health stuff going on. And they've helped us for a few things. So I can't recommend those guys enough for sure.
Amazing. And as far as like, if there is anyone who's in a position where they think, I just need to talk to someone, like there is Samaritans, there's Calm, and, they've either got like a tech service or they've got services you can just ring up and speak to someone.
You know what, fuck it, like if you're a bloke and you listen to this, like message us. Yeah, we've got no issues taking time out of our day to help someone out and sit down and be an ear for someone. Or if you're a woman and you think your partner's struggling, put them onto the podcast, get them to message us, or you can message us. It's nice to give back and help a little bit, and especially when you've been in certain headspaces yourself, you realise how scary that is.
Yeah, just trying to, I suppose, encourage people to do the work, be open, be honest, and it is worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Might not feel it, but it's worth it.
Somber one today.
It's a very somber one.
Yeah,
but,
very somber. But look, these are topics that need discussing. It's the Fit Dads podcast. We want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We can't just talk about all the good shit all the time. Sometimes the bad shit needs talking about as well. Guys, as always, if you enjoyed the episodes, drop us a follow, drop us a subscribe. It helps out more than we can even imagine, or even tell you about. Until next time, we'll see you next one.
See you soon.
Bye, man.